Imagine waking up one morning to discover that the most famous mystery writer in the world has vanished, leaving behind a car, a fur coat, scattered personal belongings, and a trail of clues that feel almost deliberately placed. Imagine thousands of people searching the countryside, police officers combing lakes and woods, newspapers screaming theories, and detectives from Scotland Yard baffled. Imagine a disappearance so strange that, even 100 years later, the world still argues about what really happened. This isn't fiction. This isn't a novel. This is the real-life mystery Agatha Christie never wrote. Now, you and I are going back to December 1926 to follow the shadow of a woman whose mind created some of the greatest mysteries in history and then became one. But before the vanishing, there was the woman. Agatha Mary Clarissa Miller was born in 1890 in Torquay, England. A quiet child with an extraordinary imagination, she taught herself to read by the age of 5 and grew up surrounded by stories, music, and a sense of solitude that shaped her mind. Her father died when she was just 11, leaving her to navigate the world with resilience and a deepening inner life. In her early 20s, during World War I, she worked as a nurse and later as an apothecary assistant, jobs that taught her the chemistry, poisons, and human psychology that would later power her novels. In 1914, she married Archibald Christie, a military officer. The war ended, and life seemed to settle. Then came 1920. Her debut novel introduced Hercule Poirot, the detective who would make her a literary powerhouse. From there, her books exploded into global fame. She became the queen of mystery, the mastermind who could twist a plot with precision no one expected. Millions read her. Critics praised her. Her career soared. But success doesn't silence pain. Behind the public genius, her marriage was crumbling. Her husband was distant, spending more time away, until the truth emerged. Archie was in love with another woman. Divorce loomed. Stress pressed. Her mother had died that same year, leaving her emotionally shaken. The pressure of fame, grief, and betrayal formed a storm inside her life that few people saw. And on a cold December evening, something in Agatha shifted. She had spent the morning writing. Her notebooks were scattered across her desk, drafts, scribbles, bits of dialogue, the fingerprints of a restless mind. But something else lingered in the room that day. A heaviness, a silence that did not belong to an ordinary morning. Agatha left her home around 9:30 p.m., got into her Morris Cowley car, and drove off into the dark. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. No note, no explanation, no plan, just a quiet departure into the night. Hours later, her empty car was found half hanging over a chalk pit in Newlands Corner. The headlights were still on. Inside were her coat, her papers, and an expired driving license. The car wasn't heavily damaged. It looked staged, arranged, almost like a scene from one of her novels. A scene set deliberately, waiting for someone to interpret it. News spread quickly, not because she was famous, though she was, but because the disappearance felt wrong, off, suspicious, as if something deeper was unfolding. Search teams were formed immediately. Over 1,000 police officers, hundreds of volunteers, airplanes scanning the countryside, bloodhounds sniffing for a scent. Lakes were dragged, woods were searched, houses were questioned. Every possible sighting was reported, checked, and dismissed. But Agatha was nowhere. Then came the rumors. Had she drowned? Had she been kidnapped? Had she run from something? Or someone? Some whispered that her husband had secrets. Some believed she planned her own vanishing as an elaborate puzzle, her greatest experiment. And others believed something stranger, something darker, had happened. As the country panicked, as newspapers printed wild theories, one thing became clear. This was no ordinary disappearance. This was a woman who understood mystery better than anyone alive. And now she had become the central enigma of her own unwritten story. For 11 days, the world held its breath. And then, as quietly as she vanished, she appeared. She checked into a hotel in Harrogate under the name Teresa Neal. Not Agatha Christie, not Mrs. Christie, not any name connected to her life. Teresa Neal, the surname of her husband's mistress. But when questioned, she insisted she did not remember why she was there, how she arrived, or even who she truly was. She claimed amnesia. Some believed her, some didn't. Doctors said she suffered a psychological break. Critics said it was a planned escape. Friends said she was heartbroken. And skeptics said the story simply did not add up. Even today, nearly a century later, no one knows the truth. Not fully. Not beyond speculation. Why that hotel? Why that name? Why the car? Why the coat? Why disappear just as her writing career was reaching new heights? And perhaps most haunting of all, why did she never speak of those 11 days ever again? Not in interviews, not in letters, not in her autobiography. She sealed that part of her life in silence. But maybe that was the point. Maybe the mystery was her final masterpiece. A story only she knew. A secret she took to the grave. And now, nearly 100 years later, we are still trying to solve the puzzle she left behind. Tonight, we followed the shadow of her vanishing. But every shadow hides another. Every answer opens another door. And every mystery has a sequel. Because the disappearance of Agatha Christie is only the beginning. So ask yourself, if the world's greatest mystery writer could vanish for 11 days without a trace, who else can? And what other mysteries are waiting in the dark, hidden in old photographs, forgotten diaries, abandoned towns, and the quiet corners of history? If you're drawn to stories like this, if you feel the pull of unanswered questions, then don't wander too far. Subscribe to this channel. Not for me, but so you never miss the next clue, the next door opening, the next real mystery history tried to bury. Because this journey is only beginning. And I'll be waiting for you in the next episode.